So when did you start Late Night?
So, yeah, second year uni. That was sort of when, we called it Late Night because Nick and I and the other people that we were doing our second uni film, we'd stay there late at night. And Swinburne, I think there was like cut-off time. I think it was like 10 p.m. You couldn't stay past 10 p.m. at the old Paran campuses, but we used to like hide and security guard come with the torch and no one there and then leave. And so we'd come up and go back to work because we were nerds. But yeah, that's why we called it Late Night, because we were always at Swinburne Paran campus until the morning, just editing or recording things. So yeah, it became our second year uni production company, and it just sort of stuck for however many 20 years now or whatever it's been.
Look, it's an appropriate name, and it still works.
Yeah, I mean, it does.
I had to rebrand because my old business name was a little bit too inappropriate. I think Late Night. I think people get it.
Yeah, and it's also spelt wrong. It's LateNite, so that makes sending emails and stuff a bit harder. But we do, yeah. But yeah, I think it's stuck, and there's definitely been times over the years, especially when collaborating with other people, we've sort of had discussions about changing the name, but it's sort of too hard now.
Yeah. What have been your most favourite projects to work on?
Oh, we've done lots of weird and wonderful things over the years. I think our first major project, The Wizards of Oz, which was Screen Australia funded, we only had a $333,000 budget to make 6 webisodes.
Did they share $1 million 3 ways or something? Or how did they come up with that number?
I don't even know if that was the original number. I think that's what we ended up with, the total money from Screen Australia. I think it originally started a lot smaller and we kept on going back for more. But yeah, that was a crazy ambitious project, which you were also involved in at some point.
I don't think I was involved with that one.
Oh, I'm sure you were at some point. I can't remember. We've done so many things over the years. Yeah. But yeah, Wizards was crazy because it was just so ambitious. It was our first big thing we were doing. It was just a crazy roller coaster of a ride to make it. Like, it was so challenging to make it because it was such an ambitious script. But yeah, we somehow pulled it off. But then we've done music videos underwater, which you were definitely a part of.
That was my inspiration for getting into underwater filmmaking. And years later, and that's such a massive passion of mine that it was all because of that one shoot.
Yeah, I mean, you can sort of link Late Night to Samurai in terms of, like, I think the company we basically, so going back before that, we did Rocket Man, which was a little short film. It was our first short film where we put actual serious money into it. Like, Nick and I went, all right, we're going to do a Tropfest film. We're going to put actual budget into it. And I can't remember how much budget it was. It wasn't that much money in retrospect, but we put a lot of money into it, and we built like a real big rocket that we took to a pyrotechnics company and physically lifted up with pyro and film plates. And you were on that. And the same company that we got to physically lift this rocket, which was so heavy. Like, we built it out of metal. It's still at my parents' house up in the Dandenongs.
It's still around.
It's still around. It will never die or never be moved. But
do your kids play in it?
It's too dangerous. No. I think the frame was actually, we bought it from Knox, the Knox tip. But it was basically like one of those giant Christmas trees you see on council roundabouts. So it's like, it was weighed I think it weighed more than a ton. It was like a 2-ton rocket because we put panels on that sort of thing. So when we took it to the riggers, they're like, Chris, you realize this is really heavy? I'm like, yeah. Like, you want us to lift it? Yeah, that's what you guys do. So they did. But anyway, the same company, Showtech, Tiny, and the team, they lifted our rocket, but then we came back to them years later, like, so hypothetically, if we were to build an entire bar underwater, could you do that? And they're like, of course, Chris, we'll make that happen. And yeah, so we built an entire bar underwater, which you filmed a lot of the behind the scenes for.
You wouldn't say it was just a bar. It was walls, it was windows, curtains,
lights. We had like underwater lights.
Yeah, had a ceiling.
Yeah.
Even had the beer taps on the bar. It was a very impressive set.
Yeah, crazy ambitious. But yeah, we just were at, I think it was East Bentley Outdoor Dive Pool. Yeah, it was only 2 days, but yeah, we had to, and we had no idea about like we made a lot of mistakes. Like we made the set out of wood. Wood obviously floats. So our riggers were like, what are you doing, Chris? They had to bring in so many weights just to sink it to the bottom of the pool.
I remember arriving on set and it was just floating on the surface. I'm like, that's a problem.
Luckily, we had Tiny and his genius guys that just didn't beat me up and just solved the problem. But yes, there were a lot of problems that we didn't consider, but we had a lot of good things. Like we had a underwater speaker so we could communicate with the actors down under the water, and we had GoPro reference cameras and that sort of thing, so the director could actually communicate things. So
I remember seeing you there tinkering with the GoPro to get a signal out of it to the surface.
Yeah, we had to, because the GoPro housing, there was no official GoPro housing that had like a cable output, so we had to build a housing for it, but it wasn't perfectly watertight, so we had to fill it with tampons so we wouldn't destroy the GoPro. So yeah, it was a bit of a shambles, but yeah, it all worked in the end.
Love it. So I would say you've been a bit of a guide for me in my career and running my business, but who's been a guide for you?
Oh, that's a really good question. I guess like when I try to think of like role models, like what Nick and I have always tried to be, especially in the early days, like we literally, LateNite has a capital N in the middle because we were copying LateNite Films in New Zealand, which is Peter Jackson's company. So we always liked the idea of doing what Peter Jackson does, James Cameron, like really big, ambitious Hollywood people. Like the Abyss documentary is my favorite documentary of all, or not even documentary, it's like behind the scenes of how they made The Abyss. If you've never seen it.
I've seen The Abyss, but I haven't seen the...
if you have, it's the most amazing piece of, like I'm such a big fan. I'm not a Lord of the Rings or Hobbit fan. Like I don't actually enjoy the movies, but the behind the scenes of those things are my favorite things. And the stuff that James Cameron did with The Abyss, if you have to go see that documentary, like it's on the special features DVD. It's the greatest thing of all time because he literally got like a nuclear tower, like a Simpsons style nuclear thing, and they just filled it with water and that was their thing. But like James Cameron got the bends because he tried to get out of the tank too quickly, and like they covered the top of the water with black dots so that no light would get through, and like it was just all crazy. But yeah, I mean George Lucas as well, all the stuff with ILM. Like I love, if you've never read the book Droid Maker, it's my favorite book. It's basically about all the companies that George Lucas set up building Star Wars, but like they created Photoshop and like Avid and everything. So yeah, I think the inspiration for us has always been those sort of big, ambitious filmmakers that not only make great films, but they innovate and do things differently. Like Titanic's one of my favorite films in terms of how James Cameron made it, because he literally like built a almost life-size Titanic just to get it. So it's all that kind of stuff that like really inspires us and is what we aim to do.
How do you see the intersection of filmmaking and technology evolving in the next few years?
In the next few years, I mean, technology has always been a big part of
We
everything.
do have a strict rule that we don't talk about AI here.
Okay. Oh, I use the term ML, machine learning anyway.
Sure.
But I mean, I don't think there's a possibility of talking about filmmaking without talking about machine learning, sadly. But yeah, I think like technology has always played a massive part. We've always been a company that doesn't do things the way it's always been. We try to always do things that is more efficient, faster. We cut on Apple's Final Cut Pro, which is not the industry standard, because it is funner. And we generally try to give our artists tools that are fun to work with, not necessarily because it is the way that it's always been done. And like I hate working in Avid Media Composer, even though that is what Hollywood uses, because it is not fun to work in. But in the next few years, sadly, like already machine learning and AI have had massive ramifications, only going to become more impactful over the next few decades. Not just generative AI, but just everything. Like I use AI, I use ChatGPT every day for everything. So yeah, the industry is definitely going through and continues to go through a rapid change with all that technology shift.
If we all keep typing into ChatGPT, how can we go back? How can we go back? Maybe it'll come up with a way that we can just go back and ignore it all.
I think the ship has already sailed. I don't think there's any way to turn it back. I think we need to, as a society, it's sort of like climate change. Like it's the same crisis that we currently have with climate change. Like, everyone acknowledges that climate change is a big issue. It's just that very few people are practically doing anything to fix it. I think everyone acknowledges that machine learning and AI is a massive, big, global issue. It's just we're sort of ignoring it for now and just going, like climate change, we'll fix it. It'll solve itself. It'll work itself out. Someone will fix the ozone layer and humanity. But it's a complicated issue.
It is, and one probably a little bit too deep for this.
Oh, we can go there if you want to.
We're talking practical technology here. What does a typical day look like for you?
That's a great question. I mean, since we have an office in Collingwood, but ironically, after COVID, I set up a home office. So a lot of the time I'll just work from home because I live like an hour away from the office and traffic is terrible in a post-COVID world. But yeah, I jump between a lot of different projects. I do a lot of late night sort of business, admin, accounting, legal stuff. So a lot of my time, Monday is pay run day. And depending on what we've got on at any one time, I might have 5 people to pay or I might have 100 people to pay. So Monday's generally admin, accounting, business day. If we've got live action projects on, I'll generally be on set for that and doing pre for that as well. A lot of the time I'm doing, if we don't have those projects on, I'm doing post-production, so editing a lot of the corporate advertising work we do or creative projects or coding. We make apps. So yeah, there's never a day. I don't think I've ever had a normal week in my whole entire life. So I can never predict what we're doing. This week, for example, we're doing a lot of 2D animations. Our Kevin, our post-production genius, has been overseas. He went over to Bali for the Unreal Engine Festival conference. So I've sort of had to jump into Harmony, which is our 2D animated software, to help with that sort of thing. So every week is different.
Yeah. Are you more of a night owl now that you're an adult or an early riser?
I have always, being in the industry that I'm in, I've always not had a lot of sleep. And like when I was in concert lighting, I would just sleep when I need to. I could sleep anywhere. Like I trained myself to sleep on planes. Like as soon as I was on a plane, I just fall straight asleep. Then I had kids and that all broke. I feel like I developed... what's the right way to describe it? Emotions. And I became a lot more emotional, a lot more aware of feelings and everything as you do being a father. And now sleep is a lot. I need to sleep because I'm getting older and I've got to, like every day at 6 o'clock, I got to get up and get the kids ready for school and that sort of thing. So I try not to stay up past, my watch says I need to go to bed at 10 p.m. and I try to do that. But there have if I look at the last 2 weeks, there have definitely been days where I've only had 4 hours sleep because I have no self-control.
I wish it was more socially acceptable to have naps during the week.
Yes. I
struggle to get through a weekend day without a little arvo nap on the couch.
Yeah, the trouble, I would love to just sleep, and I could actually do it. If I just slept on the couch, I would go to sleep because I'm so exhausted all the time. But I've got so many things on my to-do list, both as a business owner and a family dad. Like there's just so many things to do. I just would feel so guilty snapping in the middle of the day when there's so much stuff to actually do.
Our son still has a midday nap. So yeah, when they say nap when they nap, I actually do these days.
When my girls are in kinder and primary school now. So, but yeah, when they were babies, especially because my youngest was born in 2020, and especially like those early days with young kids, I definitely slept and I was generally doing a lot of the nighttime duties because my wife's not good at not getting sleep, whereas I am trained to not sleep. So I did a lot of the midnight feeds and that sort of thing. But yeah, I definitely was on baby time, whenever they slept, I would happily sleep. But yeah, sadly that world is now gone.
Yeah. Now let's talk work again. When you start a new project, what's the first thing you focus on?
I guess the thing that Late Night always cares about most is story. And that is definitely not my department. Like Nick, my business partner, and the rest of the team, they're all about story, making sure the story works. And all the creative side, making side, whatever we're doing has a purpose and is ticking all the right boxes emotionally and that sort of thing. So I think story is the most important thing, and then we work backwards from that. Then I come in and then we work out how to make it happen.
Yeah.